hour, I get to chill, you know. So I get to finally see what's going on. Um, this is for all Capricorns, cross watchers. Welcome. Long as the energy ain't crazy. All right. You know, I have something to ask you guys because we already know New Moon was in Capricorn as of January 11th, and we experienced it. But I'm trust when I tell you, it was very informative. It opened my eyes to certain things, even down to the people who, and the way a lot of things maybe some of us don't know because we're just being worker bees. Because believe me, I've been a worker bee to where I neglected my home because I'm doing all this traveling, leaving New York and things, and when I come home, I'm pooped and tired. So a lot of us should be getting tired wherever you have these placements. So this is for the placements. I want to ask y'all questions for the placements. I wrote it down. This is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and North Node. Okay, and the North Node in Aries right now is affecting us in a big way, but I'll get to that. This is Capricorn's normal goals, and I would like Capricorns to come in and to chime in. Like seriously, I would like y'all to chime in and please, if you, I want y'all, if y'all on my level. No, good night. Go.
I can't.
Look, girl, I'm online. Go. Good night. All right, you have your own. Okay. Hasta la pasta. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, I want y'all to chime in and ask yourselves for goals of Capricorn. And sometimes you got to set boundaries. I don't care what it is, what's going on. And at the bottom of the deck, when I pulled this out, we have wisdom. Okay, this is for sure. We're in a very wise time right now. I see something poking out of the page. One moment, you guys. Okay, that's a 10th house Gemini that's trying to, be herself. No problem, but not at this time. Good night. Figure it out. Um, Capricorn goals. And since the new moon, a lot of us just been plain old worker bees. And I mean putting our head down and just working. Question number one, and please answer if y'all the sun, moon, ascendant, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and North Node, okay? What truly makes you happy? Number two, what's one of your biggest fears? Number three, please put that inside the comments. Number three is, what's one of your least favorite things people do? Number four, what makes you sad? Number five, name at least two goals and claim it. Number six, what's one of your biggest disappointments? And number seven, what matters to you most? Most Capricorns don't sit and have time to really think about such things. And I've been seeing that in most of our readings that we are always at a place where we find ourselves just working head down and keeping it going to work like we're an NPC. And I said that we could be an NPC, like we're the goats that climb mountains, that's for sure. But most don't know why we climb mountains. It's not just for our own personal achievements. We also climb mountains, the goats, sea goats, climb mountains for minerals. As we climb, it nourishes our soul. And sometimes we attract people along the way and we learn a lot from our partners, whether it'll be people that we'll find like, oh my God, I never knew they would do me like that, or how we initially, in our eyes, seen these types of individuals. And we don't realize that people mirror us, and I say this all the time because it's the truth, especially if you're spiritual. Thank you for that, for this card here. We attract people who can attach themselves, even though we're spiritual white lighters in a lot of ways. We attract STDs, spiritual transmitted diseases. That's people who don't know themselves. When I tell you people who don't know themselves, they attach themselves to our sexual energy that heals them, and they go out there and keep mixing with others, and they come back and make us very chaotic on the inside. Facts. Not just sexual STDs, we talk about spiritual ones. And it's a disease. When you're a spiritual being, we have a lot of sexual energy naturally, and we attract people, or we'll find ourselves responding to other people's needs that they fuel on that, and we will fuel them, and they'll go back out there in the world and come back just to do certain things. Like they'll come back and fill themselves up. Ooh, look what I saw in here, native. Because the truth is, we're like home to them. We're like that gas station that when they're done needing that fuel, they'll go out there and mix themselves all over the place. And we just got to know where we've been. It's time for us to take a stand. You know, the most people who are intimidated by people who hold their ground, a lot of us, once we awaken from that fueling energy of fueling others and putting them in a place of them needing our beautiful energy, we find a lot of them, they initially need us. Like they need us physically, mentally, spiritually, that support group. But when you put your foot down, it's intimidating them. When you tell them, nah, I'm not doing this, it bothers them. It makes them feel like, oh, you're being defensive. No, it's great at this time to hold your ground. And I feel like we're most of us, and I would like to say 96% are not aware that we give too much of our energy out, whether it's relationships, whether it's work, whether it's to family members, co-workers, even in the street sometimes just to help. Because there's everything has a dualistic nature. And having said that, that's why I asked y'all those questions, and I would appreciate y'all commenting there. If y'all don't, I understand, but all the same. Transportation. Our third house is being affected right now because Saturn's in Pisces. That's our third house right now. That's in Pisces. I don't care. When you're a sun, your third house is in Pisces, okay? And our fifth house is also being affected, which is in Taurus because Uranus is there. It has a good thing. It has some good things, but we attract, um, we're going to be attracting Piscean types, Capricornian types, Aries types, Cancer types, Gemini types, and Leo types. And sometimes these people come in our lives because of what we've been projecting these years of our life. We've been projecting comfortability, things that and it affects our health. It When I tell you those STDs, it'll attract spiritually transmitted diseases. We find ourselves just serving others to a place that we don't consciously are aware. We're not consciously aware of how we've been giving out our energy. So when we give out too much of ourselves, we become toxic because we forget to detox our natural, beautiful white lighting energy. White cross watchers, some of y'all are not aware. And if you're a white light cross watcher, you're doing it amongst you and your partner. If your partner's giving you toxicities, you become toxic. So it's both things. Like if you stay in a toxic relationship, it makes you equally toxic. Okay, so I asked about the goals because we have been coming in at a time in our lives now, Capricorns, where we are becoming more aware and more detached, but we still put ourselves work first. And this is not the time for us to learn to put ourselves to work first, but to also sit and and heal ourselves for a change, take ourselves to spas, take ourselves to places that, because our head's been so buried for a very long time, where have we been giving ourselves that real freedom? We've been paying attention to family, friends, work, and all these other things. We make sure the bills is paid. If our partners are short or whatever, we give them. And if we're out there, committing a little sin and sins, whatever they call sin, whatever version of sin there is, We still gonna make sure family is good. And it still affects our health because we're not giving to self. We're great at burying ourselves with things. I'm telling the truth. Finances to us is almost everything apart from love. That's why I asked y'all those questions, and I would appreciate it that some of y'all please chime in. I'm not biased. I would appreciate I meet Capricorns that's willing to open their mouths, because those are the ones that open their mouths are the ones that not just come in and looking for what they want to hear, but they want to hear the actual truth of self. Because I know those who come in are those ones. Please don't let how evasive my voice can be or whatever, whatever. That's just who I am, and that's just who y'all are when y'all can't take it no more. But I'm never coming from a negative place. Our finances matter most to us, and we attract these people. Like I said, the Uranus is in Taurus. We're going to have a lot of setbacks apart from our goals. And we've been attracting people who destabilize our goals. We'll meet people who look like they fucking 5 star. You hear me? I feel like saying that right now. They look like 5 star, but the truth be told, they could be really draining us. But we're giving outwardly and not giving this back to ourselves. Self care is everything right about now, because this is where we've been coming from for a very long time. Even if we came from a toxic household, I know even the most gangsterous Capricorns out there, they'll give to their fucking group before they give to themselves. I don't care if they're the most top notch. They could be a former gangster and they still affiliated with gangs. They still make sure their group was always good. But that group will still suck the life out of you too. When y'all feed people, y'all make sure everybody eat. It's almost like being a Leo. It's like I like to say sometimes we can be fixed like Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo. We could be fixed sometimes because we want to make sure that everybody else is good. Sometimes we even forget to call people because we're so busy multi-managing. I don't care if we're home alone, we're multi-managing, thinking about the next thing to do for others. And this means when it comes to Asia, it's about opening your heart, broadening your horizons, broadening the things that really truly matter. That's why I put Capricorn goals. And I know a lot of us, we forget that. We forget that. And I deserve likes for that. Please come in and make sure. The opposition in this is how people see it when we withdraw and have that knighthood. When that knighthood card came, sometimes when you start giving the self, people's like, this is what you always did. How dare you change it up? But New Moon in Capricorn showed us if y'all over 35, the age of 35, all of that's going to change. So now it's time to decipher what really matters to you most. Because you're going to get people who's going to give you persecution and proposition. They may even ask you changes of why you're not doing certain things. You know why? Because we work so hard, we forget to give back to ourselves. Remember, we're the sign that grows in reverse on that Benjamin Button shit. And that's the God's honest truth. We're learning School of Self right about now. And I know School of Self is going to help us understand sometimes you got to give back to yourself and disregard everything else. Like it's like cancel everything you've learned, because this means school. This is going back to basics. This means what have I been giving back to self? What that peak in the sky as you see the clouds, it's like I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Said it's gonna be a bright, and this is how I know this to be true. Thanks to JR. JR called Capricorns this time during New Moon in Capricorn. He called us Tiffany. Tiffany from Men in Black when we were in that room. He called Junior. I called him Jr. But yes, same thing. He called us Tiffany from. He called us Will Smith and Men in Black, and he was like when all the men had that interview when they gave Will Smith the card, and he went to that place, and they all went in that room to shoot the gun, and I thank him for that information. When everybody went to shoot the gun, Will Smith shot the girl, and the man asked him, "Why did you shoot Tiffany?" He said, "Well, I noticed that girl had a quantum physics books and she's too young." I love it. He said she's too young. And I swear to you now, I thought the same thing when I saw that movie. And I know a lot of Capricorns thought when they finally noticed that shit, like when they finally noticed, they're like, all right, that's a fact. It crossed your mind, but it ain't hit right away. But it took somebody else to notice it just as fast because it's a movie, it's on a time. that she's holding a fucking quantum physics book. We get like that. We get anal like that, and people will look at us and say we're being negative. We're not negative. We notice the negative shit to others that's negative, but it's not. It's the neutral shit. We notice neutral stuff because the emotional stuff we haven't had time to tap into because we're busy being worker bees. So when he said we don't know if that man, he had a Kleenex in his hand and blah, blah, blah. He said she looked the most dangerous. And I'm telling you, I saw that. I said, I saw the girl there walking. I thought it, but then I'm trying to see what the movie was based on. And he was the most unique. Hey, how you doing, Liz? I hope all is well with you, mamas. You know what I'm saying? It's like we come to that point. Thank you for the like. We come to that place that we discern too much to fall in line, and our falling in line has been falling apart for a very long time. As you see, your relationships work against you, your jobs work against you. Feel free to ask a question if you like. All these things that we've been finding to fall in line for has been working against us, down to relationships that we knew we should have left a long time ago. Because when we climb those mountains, that's including relationships. Oh, the car went to fall forwards. Phobia. Didn't I say things we've been holding on to for too fucking long? We've been holding on to certain things that we knew we outgrown, but it becomes toxic to us and it makes us toxic. It's not that Capricorns are stubborn. We're not Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Aquarius and Leo, and we're not stubborn. They're stubborn to the point where they feel like I'm not a quitter. We're stubborn to like, okay, I've worked out all the kinks that if it's not freaking working no more, it's time to say goodbye. And that's the God's honest truth. That's how it is. So this at this